And to talk more about that, I'm joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri. She is a former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh. She joins us. Thank you, Ambassador Sikri, for joining us. Welcome on the show. Now that the MEA or the Ministry of External Affairs has announced that Foreign Secretary will be visiting Dhaka on Monday to hold consultations with his counterparts and other stakeholders, possibly meet call on Mohammed Yunus. What sort of outcome do you expect from this meeting, or should we realistically expect from this meeting?
Well, our government from day one, from the day 8th of August that Prasar Mohammed Yunus's interim administration took charge, has always said that we are prepared to talk to the interim administration. We are prepared to continue the relationship between India and Bangladesh. We want it to benefit peoples of both countries, and we're prepared to follow up on the projects, the very large number of projects of connectivity, infrastructure, power supply, energy trade that have developed over the last decade and a half. So that's fine. It is in that very normalcy of things that the Foreign Secretary of India is going for the Foreign Office consultations to Dhaka. It will just be a day's visit. Nonetheless, having said that, it is also very clear that ever since the 5th of August, since the day Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina left the country, there have been a major series of attacks on the minority communities of Bangladesh. This is about 15 million people. We're talking about a very large number of people. The Hindus are the largest group within the 15 million minorities. About 13 million are the Hindus. Then there are about 1 million Buddhists, 500,000 Christians, and others. So I think that we have to look at the way in which these attacks were unleashed, because Bangladesh media has written about it. Bangladesh media has described in great detail how, between say 5 and 20 of August, in a space of just 15 days, how the attacks took place on Hindu families, on homes, on business establishments, on grabbing of land, grabbing of all kinds of properties of the minorities. And it's a very, very stark factor that has been revealed by these reports which appeared in the Prathama. Now, I know that after that, what has happened is that there's been a clampdown on the media, and the media is now not allowed to report on such matters. And we have, on the one hand, a complete denial, a blanket denial by the Prasar Mohammed Yunus-led interim administration. And they're saying these reports are completely exaggerated, and they're accusing the Indian media of propaganda. I mean, this is absolutely amazing, because when you see that how they are in complete denial about what is happening to their own citizens, they're completely tone deaf to what their own citizens are saying. And really, by telling India that it is your media which is exaggerating, they are actually accusing their own people, all 15 million minorities, of not telling the truth, of making it all up. And we know that in the case of the Chinmoy Krishan Das, who used to be with ISKCON earlier, and who is now the spokesperson of a group called the Bangladesh Samilita Sanatani Jagran Jyoth. Now, this group has actually rallied the Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh. They've had a large number of very peaceful rallies, because the important feature this time is that the minority communities do not want to leave Bangladesh. They say, no, we want to stay here. The younger generation says, we are citizens of this country and we want our rights as citizens of this country. So they have made an 8-point demand asking for a law to protect minorities, a ministry to protect minorities, asking for judicial action and arrest of those who have committed these acts of violence and looting against the Hindus and other minorities. A very, very simple and effective list of demands. Okay. But nobody in the government is willing to talk to them about it. In fact, the Mohammed Yunus administration is pretending that these demands don't exist. Because
then, Ambassador, the question arises, why is Mohammed Yunus not putting a lid on it? Is he not in control, or he doesn't want to do it?
Well, you're right. He's either unable or he's unwilling. I mean, it's got to be one of those two things. And I think that it is perhaps a bit of both. Let me explain why. He's unable because he's not in control. He is not in control. It is the Jamaat-e-Islami, it is the very, conservative Islamist organizations, political parties like Jamaat-e-Islami, the Students' Wing, the Islami Chhatra Shibir, and, organizations like Hifazat-e-Islam, Hizb ut-Tahrir. These organizations are really calling the shots. They are controlling the show. In fact, the Students' Wing is forcing decisions on the people by what can only be described as a mobocracy, mobs getting together and attacking people. They forced the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to resign. They forced the judges to resign. They have been going to Hindu school teachers and forcing them to resign. They've been going to Hindu professors and forcing them to resign. Hindu government employees and forcing them to resign. Hindu sub-inspectors of the police. I believe somebody, a newspaper, media has actually written that maybe there's no sub-inspector left now from the Hindu community in the Bangladesh police force. So, these are the kind of actions that have been taking place, done by these Islamic organizations. But the administration doesn't want to hear that it's the Islamic organizations. And they actually want to live in a Alice in Wonderland world, thinking that they are taking all these decisions. So this is the part of being unable. Unwilling is, I think, that maybe Professor Mohammed Yunus feels that fine, let this go on. I mean, why should I interfere? So he makes all these meetings and he does all these statements, but nothing happens. In fact, in one case, in a very famous temple in Bangladesh, Jeshwareshwari Kali Mandir, where there's a beautiful idol of Ma Kali, and a gold crown had been presented, gifted to this temple by Prime Minister Modi on his recent visit. And this was stolen during Durga Puja. While the administration in Bangladesh says that Durga Puja is observed by everybody peacefully, actually this was stolen this year on October 10th during the... But the visuals are there. I've seen the CC camera footage which came on a lot of programs, and the person is there stealing it, but no action has been taken, no arrests have been made.
Similarly, therefore you're concluding that he's unwilling to put a lid on this.
It looks like, and also unable because he's not in control.
No, but why would he be unwilling? I mean, as in you say that he would say that why do I need to do it? Because of his image, which is being tarnished, and his country's image, which is being tarnished all around the world. It's not just India saying it. The West is saying it. UK parliamentarians are saying it. The Americans are saying it. When he was appointed, his critique said that he's a Western stooge, etc., or their appointee. So his own backers are now critiquing him. So why would he want to risk that?
I think because he really seems to be, very helpless. That means he even if he were to take a decision, it couldn't be implemented. He doesn't have the administrative support to implement any decision, because the police force, so many of the policemen were killed after Sheikh Hasina left the country, and the police stations were looted. Thousands, about 12,000 arms issued to police stations have been looted. So, there's no police force. The army has been given magistracy powers and police powers, but their implementation is very little. They're doing very little. So it is really these Islamic groups and their youth wings that are running around the country and taking decisions. And the media has been told to just write nothing about it.
Okay. Ambassador Sikri, one last thing before I let go of you. As things stand today, Khaleda Zia and her party, the BNP, clearly would have the advantage whenever the elections are called for, with Sheikh Hasina out, the Awami League's cadres, running, scooting, taking shelter, etc. So I understand when Sheikh Hasina was ousted, you had that kind of, mayhem by the Islamists, by the students. Now things have settled down. Khaleda Zia would come to power whenever the elections are held. So why would they want to risk everything? Why wouldn't they want to contain their cadres right now and say, look, we are on our way into power, now back off, we don't need to do this?
Well, as I said, if it is the Jamaat-e-Islami which is in control, and today there is a sharp difference of opinion between the BNP and the Jamaat-e-Islami.
Okay.
At one time they were in alliance in the same government when I was there as High Commissioner. But now there certainly seems to be at least a wing of the BNP that does not want to be with the Jamaat-e-Islami, and the Jamaat-e-Islami on its own thinks that they want power on their own because they've been allowed to take power like this.
Okay.
And they want power on their own. They want to keep the BNP out. And they are doing their best to delay the elections so that they can, get some more vote share because there isn't anybody else. So the BNP, of course, has also been participating in these extortionist activities in many parts of the country. What they accused the Awami League of doing earlier, they are doing now. So the key factor is the holding of free, fair and inclusive elections. Now, it's not just the BNP and Jamaat. If any elections are to be held in Bangladesh, they must be inclusive. Recently, Professor Mohammed Yunus had a national unity meeting where he called all the political parties. But he did not invite either Awami League or the Jatiyo Party, which is the party started by former President Ershad. So if you're going to leave out something like 40% of the popular vote, then how can you call it national unity? So this is the point. And instead you are talking about all kinds of reforms, you're having reports written. Reports are fine, you can have reports written, but adoption of reforms can only be done by an elected parliament.
Okay.
So elections are the answer, and they should be held very soon, but they have to be inclusive in addition to free and fair.
True. So you're saying there's a power struggle between the Jamaat and the BNP now.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll see how this turns out, but things don't look good. Let's see what the Foreign Secretary's visit yields. Hope he's able to, get the Bangladeshis to see some sense into how things can be rectified. Ambassador Veena Sikri, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us on the show.